To go from the vulgar to the obscene, right? Can I ask you about politics just a little bit more? Like in 1990, you ran for the president of, the actually, I would say, lovely country we're both from. And in this first free election, you got 36% of the votes, I think. What lesson did you learn from this experience?
Wait a minute. I didn't run for the president. I ran
the collective presidency.
As a collective body. You must know it was part of Titoist mythology. They said after Tito died, nobody can replace him, so we need a collective body.
No? And this was continued in the first phase of independence.
But the real reason that I ran for that collective body, and this collective body had 4 members and a president, as always, I ended 5th. Part of a percentage. The reason was to help my party. And many leftists even are mad at me now because it was liberal democratic, very moderate left party. But I'm not ashamed of it. You know why? At that point, we old leftists felt very well. The danger of this first wave of democracy is to allow one party on some kind of nationalist platform to basically monopolize, hegemonize the entire political field. It can be right-wing party as in Croatia. It can be, at least nominally, left-wing party like Milosevic in Serbia. The point was to keep... we saw...
So I was going to say you saw the transition from communism to very extreme nationalism, and you considered the Liberal Party as a break on this.
That was our first task. We said to ourselves, forget about radical leftist programs. Let's at least keep the space open for more pluralist democracy where there is place for everybody, for alternative culture, and so on and so on. And we almost, not quite, succeeded. For a long time, Slovenia avoided this type of rule of one big nationalist party. Even now, when Janez Janša, right-wing nationalist, is in power, he cannot get above 30% of the votes. He was able to take over because of the conflict. They can also be very corrupted and so on, because of the conflict in the so-called moderate left. So-called. I think they are a simple liberal center and so on.
So you ran to bolster this political process with basically name recognition, with intellectual authority, because Slovenian culture very much Central European. They respect the professor, they respect the academic. And I then want to ask you, you pursued this career,
which is why I have very nostalgic memories of that time, late 80s. It's because this was not only a specificity of Slovenia, but also of some other communist countries. One of the points of origin of dissidents, intellectual dissidents, was philosophy, social theory. Which is why, our books were selling, ordinary people listened to us and so on, read philosophy. It was a wonderful intellectual moment. At the same time, communists in power were intelligent enough to see the writing of the wall. So, maybe it will be of some interest to some of our viewers, a comical detail that I love. After 85, it was very difficult to be prosecuted and arrested for being too critical. So some of my friends wrote violent critique of Yugoslav Communist Party, worse than Stalinism and so on. And then they waited. Where would they go get the invitation to appear at the court? Because they wanted this as a badge of honor for democracy. Nothing happened. A friend of mine got an invitation to a debate to a central committee. He went there, said the same things, and they told him, so nice that you came to talk to us, come again.
In a way, they were minting authority off of talking to dissidents and trying to also minimize the impact of dissidents, right? They become, as you said, a badge of honor, almost martyr-like. So you pursued this career.
I don't know what was your impression, but somewhere from even, I would say, early 80s, but definitely after 83, 84, the Communist Party, at least in Slovenia, behaved as if they knew that the game is over. And their main concern was how to survive democracy, what to do. Tolerate differences, and especially play the nationalist game, we protect in Belgrade Slovene interests, and so on, you know. The good thing is that they didn't do what Milosevic did. They never succeeded in monopolizing from a nationalist standpoint the entire scene, like we speak for Slovenia, and so on.